Truckers are the heartbeat of America. Now, it's time for those three crazy truckers to deliver you an hour of news, interviews, and entertainment for your listening pleasure. It's the Independent Truckers, right here at the Truckers Independent Broadcasting Network, with your host, Princess Allie, Mr. Rock and Roll Sean Mitchell, and John Grosvenor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Independent Truckers, right here at the Truckers Independent Broadcasting Network. What a thing to say. It's almost like how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. So, our guest this evening couldn't quite make it in, so I guess we're going to just roll on like truck drivers do and forge our own path tonight. How you doing there, Sean, Allie, and Alyssa?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Doing good. Kyle did say that he did want to reschedule, John, so I will be in touch with him the next day or two. He did bring up some good points, and he sent me some good things in instant message. So when we get him back on, we're going to have to ask him. Meanwhile, if everybody will hold on to their questions until he comes back on, then we can get some few things rolling.
So, yeah, I'll make sure not to throw it out.
Did he happen to say anything about that because of the Doge cutbacks and the Trump cutbacks and stuff on these regulatory agencies, that the study of how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Now it's not going to be finished. We're never going to know the answer about exactly how much wood a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Very disappointing, to be honest with you, because they already got 1.5 million invested into it. And we're going to be lost on this. We're never going to know, Sean.
Well, and Kyle never really did say anything on that, and I'm going to get with him and talk to him about a couple things. Speaking of Doge, there is a good article up there from Overdrive, friends at Overdrive Magazine. They put out a list, and they actually had a survey what they felt drivers needed to take care of the most between Elon and Trump. Guess what the number one answer was, John?
To abolish the FMCSA.
You're close. The ELDs.
Oh, well, yeah. We done pitched a fit about that once or twice ourselves.
Not us.
Surprised me. I thought it'd be hours of service because they always talk about ELDs. See, this is the trick, guys, for anybody listening. If you abolish the hours of service, you abolish the ELD with it. So if we just get rid of the hours of service, the ELDs all centered around the principle of the hours of service. So if the hours of service is gone, so is the electronic logging device. We're all free again. Food for thought.
Well, and I'm gonna stick with my original question. Is this? I want to know why I, as a business owner, am forced to use a government mandated device without doing just compensation.
Well, you've been told.
That's always been my question. And nobody's really gave me an answer.
Yes, they have. Kim Coleman directly.
Oh, yeah?
Because they can.
Yeah, Kim Coleman gave me the best answer. She said, because they can.
Never forget.
That was the best answer I've ever got.
So, yeah,
God
I'm
love
very disappointed
Kim.
about that study, man. I'm telling you.
But, John, did you hear Tesla's getting a bunch of they're recalling all their Cybertrucks?
They are. Why? Because people are crushing them with excavators and painting them different colors on people while it's parked in the driveway, or?
No, they used the. You're close. They used the wrong glue on the trim, and it's fallen off.
Oh wow! So
Well,
the
John,
truck's gonna fall apart.
John, I take it as you've seen the video. The guy digging his hands in his pants and rubbing on the Cybertruck.
Ooh.
No.
Yes, the Cybertruck was parked somewhere. The guy reached in his pants and smeared all over the car.
Thank you for that, Ellie.
You're welcome.
I will
You're
That's
forever
welcome.
spend my night
disgusting.
thinking about this one.
Minimum
Oh,
10 years in prison. Vandalism. That's
you,
crazy.
I hope you realize we're trying to run a family show tonight.
I could have said worse. I censored it
Unfortunately,
was
we understand you could have said worse.
well,
Yeah, we brought Alyssa on tonight, and we're already going to corrupt her before it even
Uh,
begins. Thank you, Allie.
John, I was corrupted before this.
she's been corrupted.
You
She
you
she
you
got
you know me. I've been corrupted before this.
she got 10 times
Well,
worse whenever
yes,
she
you
met
can't.
me.
Yeah,
this isn't a
yes,
badge
I
of honor,
realize you
guys.
can't corrupt the
Thank you.
willing.
Can't corrupt me any more than what I already am.
Well, you are a military dependent, so I take that in consideration.
Must be talking about one of you guys.
He's talking about me. My husband's in the military.
Uh huh.
I kind of just laugh when Alyssa says some things because I realize where it's coming from.
What's that supposed to mean? What if I?
Have you been around military wives?
Yes, I have been around military wives, and I can't stand them, even though I am one.
Some of them women get together and they put a damn steel holler to shame with their language.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Don't look at
yeah.
me. Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
No, okay, I will admit. Usually they say, "Oh, it's the soldier that curses more than the white." No, honky. I curse more than that one does.
So
Oh
very
God.
briefly, what else is going
Greg's
on
already
here,
giving
John?
you
I
hell
believe the FMCSA is. I think the FMCSA has extended the comment period again.
for the broker transparency.
Yes.
It's supposed to expire tonight at midnight. I don't know of any extensions.
Oh, okay. Oh, and there was some other news getting ready to come out, but they haven't gave an exact date, John. According to our friends over at Overdrive Magazine, they're getting ready to discontinue the W900s.
Oh yeah, commies. I mean, why would you build these crap-looking trucks and get rid of the nice, well-branded trucks? W900 is an icon.
Now, see, folks, this is what you call hooditude. Good old-fashioned hooditude.
It's not attitude. It's right.
Oh, okay.
You need a W9
I thought my 660
or
wasn't.
a
My 660
379
was enough truck for me.
or a 359.
Don't get me started on that Peterbilt joke.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot, Sean. You're an automatic sort of guy.
Oh, okay. Well, just for that, you know what the difference between a porcupine and a Peterbilt is?
I've heard this one.
Heard it too.
A porcupine and a Peterbilt.
John's thinking.
I'm thinking, am I screwed if I answer this?
That's because in the Peterbilt, the prick's on the inside.
I thought I'd be screwed. Answer.
John, did you drive a Peterbilt?
You kidding? I drive a Peterbilt in a heartbeat if it's the right one. I mean, don't give me one of them sissy Peterbilts. I don't want that plastic garbage automatic crap they put on the roads today. I want, 379 Peterbilt. 3406 P cap motor.
And in my defense,
C15 cap motor's a damn good
and in
motor.
my defense, yeah, but in my defense, they brought me in this truck kicking. So just remember that.
Didn't kick hard enough. That's all I got to say.
Oh, I did. Trust me.
Yeah.
But you have to look at the times and what I see, and a lot of companies are going to automatics. It's an unfortunate thing because they keep saying that there's a driver shortage, and there's not. This is something you and I agree on. This has always been a driver retention problem.
Well, it has, but that does amount to a driver shortage issue too. It's the same. Either way, I mean, If whether you're retaining them or they're just not here, either way they're not here. So it amounts to a shortage. But the issue is you can't mistreat people and expect them to be around. It's not going to happen. They're going to move on. They go back to a job where they made money and they had greater respects. You have people that said, I'm getting sick and tired
Well,
of welding. I'll go drive a truck, and next thing you know, they don't like it. So they go back to welding where they can get greater respects.
well, and you know as well as I do, we've had a couple drivers here in the past. Just recently, we met. They've got jacked around for the first month of where they were at because they either couldn't find them a good, dependable truck, or there was always some other excuse. Now they're finally starting to make their money. But I mean, you can't keep putting a driver in a truck and then say it's out on the ready line, ready to go, and then next thing you know, the battery's dead, the tires are low, or whatever the case might be. They're running them trucks out of the shops like a fast food restaurant.
Oh yeah. They don't fix nothing. They just patch up something on the way. So Greg says, did Allie bring another liberal on the show to try and help her out? Wow,
Oh,
Allie,
okay, Alyssa, this
that's
one's yours.
that was right across your bow, Allie.
Greg,
Greg Toller. Miss,
troublemaker.
Yeah.
He's not a jackass no more. He's just a troublemaker.
wow, lost your title there,
Yes,
Greg.
Alyssa. By the way, Alyssa, he's running for state rep in Kentucky right now.
Hmm. And he's a handful too.
Well, I can't speak on too much on the state of Kentucky. That's just my husband's state. But okay then.
I thought that one hit close to home. Um, so, John, what do you think? If we get rid of the hours of service, what's that? And we do end up getting rid with the ELD. What's that going to actually end up doing with the drivers? They're going to be forced. They're going to be driving on their own free will, or does that mean the companies are going to be able to push them like they did back in the '70s?
There you got 392.3. Enforce it. That's all I'm saying. If a driver says I'm too tired to drive, he said I'm too tired to drive. Leave him alone. You don't leave him alone. He calls up the FMCSA and says, "Guess what? I mean, they don't enforce 392.3, right? They don't enforce certain regulations. They just want to enforce hours of service. They want to enforce the ELD. They want to enforce the crap, but they don't do anything to make it better. A lot of drivers would be less stressed out here without the hours of service rules. A lot of drivers would be better rested because they'd be stopping when they need to and driving when they can. There'd be more productivity going on. You would have the parking issues you have because you would have a rotation of parking spots again. It used to be that truck spots would open up during the night. Not always. I mean, most drivers like to be on a daytime schedule, but you would get that rotation of parking spots if you didn't have an hours of service rules because some guys would be like, hey, man, you know what? I'm just going to get up and roll, man. It's 8 o'clock at night and I've been sitting there for 6 hours. I'm done. I don't want to sit here no more. I'm going to go roll. I want to roll. And so spots would open up more frequently. Restaurants would be open at truck stops again like they used to be all hours of the night. Remember when they had 24-hour restaurants at the truck stops? Any traveler coming
They
along
still
at
do.
midnight could get something to eat or sit down and have coffee or whatever they wanted to do. And now they're locking the doors up or just changing them up for fast food because the parking spots are all taken up by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. They're done by 6, 7 o'clock. They fed everybody and they're closing up the doors. It's ridiculousness.
Well, I
It
agree
tanks
with
the
all.
whole
I can
economies and
agree
all
with all
aspects
that.
of things. Um, Drivers that can't say no shouldn't have a CDL license. I'm sorry, but if you're too big of a wimp to say no, and you can't tell the dispatcher to get bent, hang up the phone and turn it off, and don't call me no more. That's it. Don't call me no more. I'll turn off the phone. I'm going to bed. I mean, how many times have you done it, Sean? How many times you had to tell a dispatcher, say,
At,
look, I said no, I'm done. I'm not going anywhere until
at
morning.
least once.
Yeah, I've had to
At
do it
least
lots of
once.
times, man. I've had dispatchers try to push on me. I've had dispatchers, I was talking to somebody last night. I was doing the show last night and talking to them about that, You tell them, hey, look, I've been running hard. I'm going to finish this run. When I get done, I want the day off tomorrow. And next thing you know, you're emptied out and they're calling you, got your load, buddy. It's like I told you I want the day off. Well, I already booked the load. Well, then unbook it. I don't care. I told you, man. I've been busting my
My
nuts. I'm done for a while. I'm taking my time off.
Well, and I think my hardest part was I had tried to convince a dispatcher I needed a washout before I could go reload. Well, I'm sorry. When you got chicken blood on the floor, it'd probably be best to go get it washed out.
Yeah.
It's not my fault the skids collapsed.
Yeah, who's in charge of that truck? You or them? I mean, you're the one behind the wheel. What are they going to do?
And
Tell you
then
to bring
hangs
out
up
your
the
truck and
phone with
abandon
thinking
it?
I
That's
don't
the
want to
worst
go
they could
load.
do.
No, I want to go get my trailer washed out because I don't want to hear about it when I got to go get this next load.
So Peter says back to the 70s, and he thinks it's going to change in Ontario. Are you talking about the hours of service, Peter? What are you
There's still
talking?
some truck stops. We got one around here. They have a Denny's that's open 24/7.
Which I'll never stop at again.
Uh-oh.
I haven't been since.
What'd you do? What'd you do to Ellie, Sean? Did you traumatize her?
uh, I actually just about me and the whole Jackson family got traumatized.
Uh-oh.
We'll just leave it there.
Oh yeah, you always save the good stories for what is that site you guys like to go to? Discord.
Discord.
Well, I could tell you this. Our stomachs was messed up by the time we weren't even done eating yet. Our stomachs were all messed up. At least my dad and I. But we got that Jackson gut. So
So what do you say? You could
sorry,
send the
not sorry.
company
Brandon
you were
didn't even.
with? What's going on here?
Poor Brandon, he didn't make it out the drive out of the damn building. Allie barely made it to the house.
Did you take them to Denny's?
We're not doing Denny's no more. Next time it's Whataburger.
Yes.
Hear that, Taller? It's Whataburger.
Yes. Let's go.
Whataburger's good. It's been a long time for me, but last time I've had it, I was like, I think I only had it once in my life. I was pretty impressed. I asked
Mm.
for a drink, and I'm like, I think the smallest drink they had was a 32 ounce. I'm like, hey, you know what? Bigger is better in Texas. Bring it on. Let's see. He said, yep, in
Yeah.
schools,
Well,
one file, they
if
tend
it's up to
to.
Greg Taller, he'll have a Whataburger in Kentucky
Yeah, so they
with
got
a
some.
truck drive-through.
So Peter says they got some changes coming up in Ontario. They're going after the government apparently, and they're going to make some changes in trucking. It amazes me, because Ontario makes their hours of service rules for Canada, and they're going to tell their drivers this, according to our studies, are the most safe way a driver can operate a commercial motor vehicle. You can't find anything safer than these hours of service rules. These are mandatory. These are what you got to go by. The United States of America does their studies and their bullshit and says these are the best and most safe operations you can operate under. This is the hours of service rules for the most safe on the roads. This is what you got to go by. But yet they contradict each other. They're not the same. So
Yeah,
how are
see
they the most safe?
this is what it's going to be interesting, John, is because it's been noted always through the whole my time of driving that you went by the no, you went by the time of your home terminal.
Yeah.
So if your terminal is based out of Texas, you operate your logbook off of Central Standard Time.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So now here we got the Canadian drivers coming in, and are they gonna have to be forced to the U.S. Hours of service, or can they still run the Canadian hours of service?
They're still when they cross that line, they better be in compliance with U.S. hours of service. Same way when we cross into
See,
Canada, we have to be in
it's a double
compliance with
standard.
theirs. Which means a lot of Canadians because they have less restrictions than we do. I think what did they get 16 hours or something? I don't remember. But so they have to make sure they take that proper break before they cross in, and the break is different. I don't remember. I don't remember the details, but I remember that they have to make sure before they cross into the United States that they've taken a proper break to be in compliance with U.S. hours of service rules.
By the way, I see
And
a
I think
picture of
Mexico, does Mexico even have them?
Well, that's kind of funny because if I remember right, there was the U.S. at one time was willing to give Mexican drivers the ELDs so they could run compliant in the United States. I know a lot of the Mexican drivers down in Laredo, they don't want to get caught over here during their time because then they got to spend the night and head back to the border because they don't want to get in trouble.
Oh, okay. Mexican hours of service rules regulations dictated drivers are restricted from driving for a total of over 14 hours within a 24-hour time frame. Following a continuous 5-hour drive, a 30-minute break is mandated before resuming driving. Huh?
Okay.
I don't know. I probably have to get deeper into that, but that's just what I'm reading on the surface. But it looks like they can drive up to 14 hours, of what I'm gathering. I don't know.
That's kind of what it sounds like. So I see Allie down there is busting a gut. She's just waiting to tell what we talked about before the show,
Is
John.
it already the end of the show? Is it the last seconds?
No,
She just gambled.
I'm cracking up with at Alyssa over there snacking.
All right, let's see. Canada, 13-hour after 8 hours off, 15 hours after 8 hours off. So I think they got different rules in different parts of Canada for that. And I think Peter's told us that before, that
Yes.
different provinces and stuff have a way of governing differently. United States, as we all know, is 11 hours with 10 hours off, maximum within a 14-hour period. Mexico is 14 hours in a 24-hour time frame. It doesn't say that they have to take any specific time off or how they break it up. This is just giving it a quick overlay. On duty limits 14 hours for Canada and the 18 hours with the 15-hour 8 thing. United States 14 hours. Mexico is 14 hours. So I guess you can drive up to 14 hours in your 14-hour on duty limit. Um, that must mean you're like United States. You can be on duty all you want to. You can be on duty a week straight if you want to, as long as you don't drive during that time after you exceeded the 11 hours.
Right.
Shift limit: no driving after 16 and 20. Elapsed hour service in the last 8 hours off duty. That's Canada, of course. No driving after 14 elapsed hours since the last 10-hour break. And Mexico would be 14-hour limit. Drivers are obliged to take an 8-hour break. There you go. So Mexico is 14 hours with an 8-hour break. Huh. And you can drive as much as you want to in that 14 hours, apparently.
Well, there you go.
That's what I'm
So
getting
we're
at
gonna have
with
to
this.
make
It's not.
arrangements.
It's not in
We're
depth.
gonna have to make arrangements. Get Peter back on the show again. Um, we got to get some things going with our brothers to the north. So, Allie, you've been waiting patiently to talk about
She's
this.
dying. You got to do a build up first, right? I mean, our one listener
Um,
needs
So
to know that this is
apparently,
going to be all.
everybody's little favorite TikToker from the Democratic National Party decided that he wanted to get his ass in trouble. Um, I got to admit one thing about Harry. Um, dude, you never leave evidence. That's all I can say.
He's a Democrat. What do you want?
So, well, now see, there you go. Point well taken.
That's like,
I cannot
Go ahead, Allie.
I cannot expect nothing more from a male feminist so big on treating women right, women's rights, this and that, women, women, women. But you're a player. You got 15 women. The youngest, he's like 23, right? And this is so funny to me because he doesn't practice what he preaches. About 15 women. The youngest is 18. She's freshly out of high school, just starting college. It's just wild to me, and I really would love to have him. Like, I know Sean is wanting him on the show one day. I'm wanting him even more, so I can just dog on him. Male feminists are the most out. Oh my gosh, how can you be a feminist, a male feminist at that, and then have a roster full of women that you are conning to send noodles, if you're following. You are conning these young women to send you pictures and try to, and then you move on and move on, and then this videos that he's making about this
wait, is
this
he
girl
doing
that he
these?
has. He doesn't want to show her face, but all these girls are now coming out, which I feel bad for the young women that are played by Harry. In my opinion, How naive can you be? Why are you sending noodles to an influencer that has over or did have over 2,000 or 2 million followers? Now he has like a 1.8. He's losing it. Parker, he's going mentally insane. He can't wrap his head around all this. They're falling apart.
Wasn't saying anything
You
bad.
can't
I cannot wait
And
here.
you
if
can't
I
go where you've
if
been
I
all
remember
along.
right, Dean actually was smart enough to get away from them.
Yep.
Out of all of them, the loudmouth of them all, Dean actually said, "We're done."
So let
Yeah.
me get this straight: was he dating these women, or was he just
Nope.
getting them to
Nope.
send nude
Nope.
pictures?
He told them this was on Snapchat. Like I said, I've sat there for about 10 hours listening to all this stuff. I'm not about drama, but when it comes to taking down Harry Sisson, oh, he deserves it all. I'm just loving it. Loving this like glow party right now. It's great. This all took place on TikTok. No, 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 no. They met on TikTok, and then he asked for their Snapchat. If you don't know what Snapchat is, for anybody who's listening, Snapchat, you can send pictures to each other or send messages, and they can delete after 24 hours, I believe. You can save them there, or you can just leave it to delete. Um, it's mostly a whole bunch of playboys that go on there, a whole bunch of young teenagers that go on there to hide stuff from the parents. I don't blame these girls for what they did because they trusted him. He was all about women's rights and women deserve to be treated so and so. So they believed him. But I'm sorry, but how gullible can you be? How naive can you be to send pictures to a young influencer with all these followers? But I mostly blame the parents. Last night there was a lady, or the night before there was an older lady. It was one of the girls' mothers. She said that her daughter couldn't come on because her daughter was doing homework. So that right there, your daughter's young enough to be doing homework, and she's sending these pictures to Harry. But get this, her mom told her because she's about to go to college. She said, "Well, you need to make some friends. You need to get used to the college life. Try to be friends with Harry." What kind of mother would, oh, hey, go get close to Harry? Maybe y'all get married one day. She was hoping that they would get married one day. What kind of mother are you? You're gonna
Well, here, you really
please.
don't know. You really don't know the kind of people you're dealing with anymore. I mean, John remembers this back in the day. Who would ever thought John Wayne Gacy would get a picture next to Rosalind Carter?
You know who John Wayne Gacy is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, who would ever thought that could be possible? Oh, and again, you just really never know who you're getting with. Um, Back in the day when John and I was growing up, if we got a picture from a girl, we kept that to ourselves. That was ours. That wasn't meant to go out and share and
Okay.
try to
First things first.
whatever, And
We didn't.
I've actually got a couple recent ones, but I
So
won't go into detail.
wait a minute,
But
Sean.
the bottom line is, they're mine,
We
and I'm not
we
sharing them with anybody.
we didn't
Hold
get
up.
those. We didn't get those
Pause.
sorts of pictures when we were young. You know why? Because they come in photos, and photos had to be processed down at the Kodak place, or the pharmacy. They didn't process those sorts of things. They would throw them
Well,
back at you and go, no.
what these young girls and young men are not understanding that whatever you put on the internet, it's out there. You send a picture to somebody, it's out there. Anybody can, everybody can see it.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
what.
but
But
it also comes down to the responsibility of it too, Allie.
well, but and I don't think it's 100% the girls' faults. Like, yeah,
No,
but it's the parents. The
So
parents nowadays, and the older people had brought up when we're all talking about it, a bunch of big creators. They said, "What is wrong with the new generation? What is up with the parents not teaching their kids? Hey, whatever you put out on the internet, it's there. You should not be sending nude pictures, at least until you're married. Okay? Don't be stupid."
Greg is correcting me here. He admits that he was standing in front of the mirror nude with a Polaroid camera. Okay, he didn't say that. He just said Polaroid, but put two and two together.
That's what he
Polaroid, the first
gets.
Android, he
Thanks,
said.
Taller. I needed that. Thanks, Taller. I really needed that. Thank you.
This is great for
Well,
his
if
campaign. You know that, right?
printed out pictures is not that big of a deal, but putting them out on the internet, oh my goodness. I'm so
Well,
happy
and
my
again,
parents.
like I say, I think a lot of it has to do with the generations of what's going on because the young, and this is where you and I've talked about this before, Allie. The type of the younger generation is they don't understand the responsibility when they get something like that. In Harry Sisson's case, I really think he was just looking for the greed, the money, and the fame. That's all he was looking for.
Well, I think that a couple of these young women were thinking too, because why in the world would you want to talk to a guy like Harry Sisson? I'm sorry. That's just crazy to me. I think, and now it's coming out now after 6 months or so. They're trying to get the fame out there, which I'm not victim
Hmm.
blaming. I don't even think they're victims. No crime has happened. If it was like an assault, that's a different thing. That's a different story. These girls just got played. They got their feelings hurt. They got heartbroken, and now they want to come out about it. But everybody's saying it's not Harry's fault. It's not the girl's fault. It's these parents. These parents are not teaching their kids to
That's a small part of it.
have morals for yourself, dude. Instead of go, I miss the old days when people were loyal. When there was only like he even said himself. I'm everywhere with this. He told the girls himself they were not going to be exclusive. That's a red flag right there. If a guy tells me, "Oh, me and you aren't going to be exclusive," I'm like, "Peace out. You're done. You're out of here." I'm sorry, but that's crazy to me.
It's nice to know that
Well,
people your age understand this sort of thing. People
But they don't.
sometimes they see somebody like Harry. Harry has a great deal of fame, right? Well, you said 1.8 million followers, up to 2 million followers at some given time. He's probably reaching more people. If he's got 1.8 million followers now, the amount of reach he's getting is probably could be 10 million or 20 million, and the chances are he's getting some pretty good revenue off from what he's doing. He could be a
Yeah.
millionaire doing this.
well, of course he is.
And so that's
Yep.
attractive to some people. There's people out there that, they used to call it trapping men. Women used to
Hmm.
date men and try to get pregnant with them so they can trap them into marriage and all that nonsense. And so it's probably attractive to these young girls because they may not be, they're looking for security and they're looking for somebody that can provide that
Hmm.
security. And that, funny enough, being feminists and don't need a man, but yet they're still falling into the same psychological thought processes, and those are actually normal. A lot of women do value security. Men are risk
Well, that's
takers,
the
and
thing.
women like security. That's how life works, and
Yeah.
so he's probably attractive to them because he's got that. He can offer that. Um,
Oh, it's not even an attraction. There's no attraction from him to these girls. He's just trying to get.
well,
He's
I'm
trying to
saying
get
for
something
the
out of it.
girls, they see an attraction to him because he can offer that. That's kind
Hmm.
of like Caroline Levitt. We were just talking about here recently. She's 27 years old, but she's married to a 59-year-old man.
Well,
Might have
Go
been maybe she
Caroline.
liked the security.
to
She
each
doesn't
their
strike me
own.
as the type that was looking for security, though. It might just been something that they just hit it off. But
These
Damn,
young
that makes
these
me rethink a position now.
these
yeah,
young
what the hell are you
women
thinking, man?
nowadays, and I can be guilty of this whenever I was younger. They're looking for validation from other guys. They feel as they're not enough. A guy telling you, "Oh, you're so beautiful, you're worth so much," and this and that. People just don't understand you. That's how they get you in. And I think we need to like the word needs to be spreaded. Parents nowadays need to teach their children, teach their young girls what I was taught. And it's crazy that this new generation, like I'm part of this new generation. I'm talking like I'm 60 years old. But goodness gracious, parents, get your crap together. Teach your children.
Some women do that. They push the daughters onto a guy like Harry for the very reason
Yeah,
that I was
that's
Teach your
describing. Yeah,
daughters morals.
Yeah, put your
But
standards
she's
first.
Well, and I like what I'd like to say is this again with Harry. He was looking for another, but the BBD, the bigger, better deal. That's all
oh,
Harry's ever looked for. Uh, you go over his TikTok, and there's people throwing him lots of money his way every night. Granted, TikTok gets their percentage, but even still, he's laughing inside because he knows he's getting something out of it.
oh, and he's talking about sending cease and desist letters to all these girls. It ain't
Well,
gonna uphold
Which they
anything.
don't mean jack.
Hell
he's made
no.
no commitment to them. This is the issue: is he's made no commitment to them. It's not like he has impregnated anybody to have obligations. So I mean, there's really nothing here. There's no relationship. There's no violation of a contract here. So
It is just ruining his name because he made a oopsie and effed around and found out.
Well, he made multiple oopsies,
But
so
but yet though, John, he turns right around and he claims what the Don did. He's been banging on the Don ever since I can remember.
uh-huh.
And yet though he claims the Don's not a protector of women. Well, I kind of think the Don has kind of showed he is.
Well, I'm not denying that here he is. I'm not his advocate here. I'm not denying that what you're looking for here, he was preying on them
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
for his own sense of satisfaction or gratification.
hmm
I don't know what he
I
was
think it's
doing with
funny.
images of these girls. I mean, eh, it's beyond me. I don't know what you need him for. Uh,
Harry's not practicing what he preaches.
mhm.
He's talking about how bad the Dawn is. But yet, there's no proof with E. Jean Carroll or whatever her freaking name is. I don't care less to know who
Well,
she is or what she is.
all
But
right.
there's no proof there. But there's plenty of proof what Harry's done.
Second one was the first
Practice
one.
what you preach,
Thanks,
buddy.
Allie. I wanted that drink. Out of all the drinks, I really wanted that one.
Harry Sisson, busted, disgusted, and can't be trusted. Known worldwide.
Well, there's
And
news articles. This is out. He's cooked.
So,
if you remember right, John, it wasn't too long ago, just a couple years ago, we busted somebody out for preying on women and their money too.
oh yeah, I remember.
And
He
yeah,
slipped
and
away.
now you don't even hear about him in the trucking industry anymore.
He was a true predator. This guy was. There was a few of them that were running around us here that unbeknownst to us until later on, they were sending nude pictures of themselves and threatening to tell their husbands they had an affair if they didn't send money and that sort of thing, scamming these women, and even going as far as they had trucking businesses and they moved in there on their trucking businesses and worked these women over where they were skimming off the profits off the top. And so yeah, Sean and I kind of called one of them out on it, and we had
Well,
pretty good following back in that day. So
speaking of predatory behavior, he is also affiliated with a guy named Camille. He works with a guy named Camille. Apparently, Camille is talking to a 14-year-old autistic boy. I believe he's from Australia. Sending him money, telling him if you say anything about what's going on, he's like, I have connections to the FBI. Harry and Camille told that 14-year-old kid, if you say anything to anybody, we have connections to the FBI and we will find your family.
so you're saying they were grooming him and threatening him if he talked?
Mm-hmm.
There's evidence
Exactly
of
what it
this. It's
is.
already come out, or what?
Hmm.
Is there evidence of this? I mean, this isn't like hearsay, right?
There's, I've seen evidence. So these are what the girls have said about Camille.
Okay, so
One
this
of
is
the
kind of
girls
hearsay. So we
said
want to
that there was a.
because we're talking publicly here where anybody can hear us. We want to make sure that they
Mhm.
understand this is hearsay because
There
we
was
don't
a
want to get us.
Discord. Well, there was a Discord that all this was going on. And this Discord that was Harry's, it was exclusive. The girls that Harry was talking to was in that Discord, and the 14-year-old boy had actually got in contact with the girl, one of the girls, and was telling her everything that was going on, and they were kind of talking a bit. And Harry and Camille had set him up to try to bait the young girl. I say young girl, 20 or whatever, how old she is. Um, to bait her to say something that can legally get her in trouble. And she caught on it pretty quick. I don't have any receipts. So just for clarifications, I don't have them myself. Go on X, look up Sarah is censored. All of the receipts are there about Harry and all these girls. There's most likely stuff about Camille. So it's Sarah is censored on X. Everything is there.
Uh-huh. All right. So, we got our gossip out for this evening.
By the way, before we go any farther with that, John, I did reach out to Sarah this week, and I asked her if she'd like to come on the podcast. Now, I don't know the whole story behind it. She sent me a message and basically said, "Well, all the evidence is out in the front, and you'll be seeing more." But with that being said, if Sarah ever gets back in touch with me, we'll make arrangements for that. But as of right now, there's nothing set in stone.
So she's actually going on a news station. I believe it's Newsmax. There's a whole bunch of different articles about what's going on. She's going on some news station and talking about all this. John, I'll send you some of the receipts that I have, like different articles, the X account, etc., etc.
Oh, I don't need them. I just making sure that, we're just
Yeah, no, yeah,
distinguishing
I
that we're
understand.
not spreading rumors on somebody or if we're going to talk about it, make sure we
No,
throw it as hearsay or like you gave a source. So
Mm-hmm.
at least we have a source that you mentioned so people can verify it if they choose to.
I got you, John.
no. What she's saying is, I mean, I reached out to her after I saw a couple of her videos. TikTok's blowing up over this right now. You can't scroll anywhere within at least 4 or 5 scrollings, and somebody's talking about this.
Wow.
Um,
I haven't been
I
on in
think
a while.
personally, I knew the man was. I knew that the boy was nothing but a boy. I've called him out on it. I counted the other day. I invited him 10 times to be on the Wednesday night show because I want to hear him go up against true conservatives, and yet though he refuses. But he'll go after the ones he feels is less vulnerable or more vulnerable, and he can have fun with them on TikTok. Why? Because he gets the viewers and he gets the money.
You
And he's
established
in
he's a
control.
predator. He's not going to leave himself vulnerable. That's not what predators do, right?
I wouldn't technically say that Harry is the predator. Camille is the predator, but Harry works for him.
Uh huh.
It's some kind of
So he's going
like
around
online
using
work.
his influence to get girls to send these inappropriate pictures of himself without any disclosure of how he intends to use these pictures. So is that acting as a predator?
I wouldn't say he's a predator because they're over 18. If they were under 18, I would say, yeah, that's being a predator. I see what you're saying, though, and I'm not taking his side. I swear I'm not taking his side. I'd take anybody else's side over Harry. He
Oh,
can he can kick rocks.
here we go. Ellie Jackson, the defender of Harry Sisson.
I will never,
Talk about an
I
oxymoron.
will never, even 6 feet under, I will never excuse
You and I are
Harry.
going to have a
In,
talk when I get back to Texas, young lady.
Ooh, you in
of
trouble.
all people, I would never take up for Harry. He can kick rocks. There's just so much I would like to say, but I gotta say censored.
You and
Screw
I are
Harry.
going to have a talk at Whataburger.
Well, Greg already wants to call me the liberal, so there you go. There's the icing on the cake.
Bring me some Whataburger. No, I'm just kidding.
You don't deserve none.
Yeah, well, just remember one thing about Greg. His CB handles storyteller.
Mm,
Storyteller.
mm,
So
mm.
Greg is
I'll hear
storyteller.
about
Sean
that
is
in the
do no
morning.
good.
Yeah, I'll hear about that in the morning. Uh, so we got about 10 minutes left, John. Anything else going on in the trucking news?
Well, I've seen where the left in Congress is losing their minds because Secretary Sean Duffy is laying people off And oh, hang on a second.
Why would he do that?
Well, he just he doesn't like to spend money, especially the people's money. He's fair that
Uh,
way. And so let me bring this gentleman in here, and we'll get further into this. My God, if it's Daryl, Daryl Gibbs. Yeah, you got to
Hey,
mute
how
yourself.
y'all
they
doing?
call
Good.
they call him Mr. Gibbs.
How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Tired,
Oh,
but doing. I'm up, alive, and kicking butt.
there you go.
I'm over here in Idaho.
Well, we're gonna have to reschedule. Kyle had I don't know if you heard. Kyle's gonna have to. He had to reschedule. He had some family problems at home,
All
so
right,
we're gonna bring him back on another day. Uh,
cool.
we was just finishing up talking about everybody's favorite TikTok from the Democratic Party, Harry Sisson.
You're gonna hear from me later, Sean.
You
These
know,
Democrats and liberals are
Discord.
crying way too much.
you know, they are crashing down. Every single one of them are crashing down as I expected. I'm so happy to see it. I
Hmm.
never pray on somebody's
Well,
downfall, but
In this
John,
regard, the
wasn't
way
they
they treated
questioning about the
America the
money
last 4
Elizabeth
years,
Warren was taking?
holy crap! I don't think I have any feelings for Democrats right now. Not after what we went through for 4 years. The fact that their party's crashed and everything's falling apart with them. They can't hold their shit together. Chuck Schumer's over there looking through his glasses instead of above him now because he really needs to see what the hell's going on because he's lost. Okay, um, yeah, I think their pain is my pleasure at this particular moment in time.
Well, didn't they just crack down on Elizabeth Warren for some of the money that she'd been handling?
Yeah, I think I heard something about it. I didn't get into it yet, but I did hear something about it. She had
they're
some sort
going
of
crazy.
involvement with, was it USAID or was it something else? Well, I'm trying to think. Oh, Act Blue, wasn't it?
I think of Yeah, I think it was. Um,
So
I still
there's an
like to see when they're going to
investigation.
start cracking down about in. I still like to see when they're going to start cracking down about inside trading and Pelosi.
Oh, let's see. I think Congress is calling for an investigation on Act Blue.
Well,
Let me
Daryl,
go
you
ahead
ran
and
for
get
state
somebody
rep
on.
over in Colorado. What's your thoughts on all that?
On Nancy Pelosi and some of these people, I think they need to be prosecuted. I think anybody that's in, I think anybody that's in that authority of power and you're being corrupt, you just should be prosecuted. Because what you're doing, you're going against the trust of the people. The people didn't put you in there so you can get rich. They put you in there so you can fight for them. And if you're up there getting rich and you're not fighting for them, you need to be put in jail and your money taken away and dispersed upon the poor, or give it to like to the veterans.
mm-hmm.
The veterans could use that money.
Hell yeah, they could. Oh, shoot. Heck yeah, they could.
They've been they've just been robbing the
Yeah.
American
Oh,
people
don't
for so
worry.
long.
It's all right, Alyssa.
Let's see.
Well, and with Doge, I wish they'd be a little more. I'm glad what they're doing, but I wish they'd be a little more strategic on what they're doing. Like, say, for instance, they're getting all this money, for instance, from Africa from stuff they shouldn't be having. Okay, then how much money you got? Then where exactly are you going? Are you putting it back into into the deficit so we can lower our deficit? If we are, then you need to. I think they need to say it more because people are still kind of wondering what's going on with it.
Well, and
So
I would
here
agree
here
with
you
that.
go.
Um, I remember in Indiana, every year they had to come out with everybody what their earnings were every year, and it had to be published. And every time Richard Luger's came up for his yearly earnings, he's always said in trust. Now, this is a man that didn't even finish out mayor of Indianapolis, turned around and sold his mother-in-law's land to build Market Square Arena, and now he's a U.S. senator, and then he raised the tax dollars up in Indianapolis 5%. But people loved him. There's a
Yeah, I
reason why
don't
we
get
called
that.
him. Yeah, I'm not going to smear the man too much now because he's no longer here to fend for himself. But the bottom line of it is, I really just don't see what he did much of.
Didn't heal, bro.
Okay, now I know we got some dead space here. Let's fill this up,
Uh,
John.
yeah, I was about to say. Okay, what else we're talking about? Well, you have that. Okay, I guess y'all heard that. Wait, but hold on. I'm trying to do this with a straight face. All right, so you have this advocate that's for the illegal immigrants. Now, this advocate
I'll drop it.
was up in Colorado, Denver area. She got picked up by ICE, so she's getting deported. So the news is making a big issue of this. My thing is, number one, she's here illegally. She's been here illegally for over 9 years. I think the church that was holding her, they need to be fined because these churches, they get these people and they don't even try to get them to become legal. They just get them and say, well, we're harboring them because they're asylum seekers. Well, I'm sorry, but anybody that sits up here, you come over to the United States and you're here for years and years and years, and you don't even attempt to put in the paperwork to become a citizen, then yeah, you ought to be deported. And I don't see why she has to be such a big news because she came here illegally. And there's a lot of other people that came here illegally, but at least they're in line and they're trying to become citizens. So I don't see why all these people are crying when all these people are getting shipped out of here.
Well, and I think the highlight, speaking of shipping out, I think the highlight of this week was when the judge told Trump he had to bring all those back. They were going to El Salvador, and they were already in the air. And when they landed, the president of El Salvador said, oops, too late.
Yep. And I don't get these federal judges. I mean, they know that these people went against the law and they're trying to protect them. But then, like I said before, like especially like dealing with Colorado and a bunch of other states, we have Polis and whoever else is going to run for governor. I think a lot of these people, they're too chicken to say, you know what, all you people that came in during the Kamala administration, I'm sorry, you got to go. And everybody else, you need to get your stuff together. If I was governor, I'll straight up tell everybody. I said, okay, all you people that's been here all your lives, you got a year to get in line and get your paperwork. After that, y'all gonna get shipped out. And everybody that came over during the Biden Kamala time, you're gonna get shipped out because you do not get to step in front of the line of everyone else.
See, that's exactly the one thing that Mitch Daniels did in Indiana when he was governor that I approved of. He told every one of them, you got 1 year. Get it together or pack up and get out.
Yep, you should be able to get it together in 1 year. But and then again, too, I understand there's people that need some help because this process is not cheap, and I don't know why it's so expensive for people to become Americans. I think it's just the lawyers are taking advantage of this and getting rich off of it, and that's unfortunate.
Oh, I agree. And that was something that we're going to talk about with Kyle when he comes back on, because right now they're putting protests up in San Antonio over this. And I don't want to get too much more into his story because I like to let Kyle to let him tell it. But John, we got a little treat next week.
Oh yeah, what we got?
Mandy from the Truckers Table's coming back.
Oh yeah, Mandy.
She would like to, she'd kind of like to settle the score on that. Why I'm thinking about it, last week Mandy's father had passed away, so on behalf of the TIBN, we'd like to offer our condolences. But she will be on next week, and she wants to settle score on a couple things that have been said. And then April 3rd, Dr. Stock will be on.
All right, since you're still down with your gun on me,
He just says that. He doesn't tell you who Dr. Stock is. Ellie's smiling. I guess she knows who he is.
Who's Dr. Stock?
Dr. Dan Stock, the COVID doctor. He's the guy who came out in
Oh,
what
Oh.
2021. He come out to the Indiana Board of Education and tried to explain to them about the follies of their actions about COVID and how they were causing more harm and detriment. And basically, everybody in government, because it was Biden-controlled government, moved against
Mhm.
him. But he stood his ground. He never gave up. He never backed down. He stood his ground and basically just told the world, said, "Hey, you know what? You're all screwed because you're following this government instead of following what the protocols you should be following."
Right. Got okay. I got you.
I like Dr. Dan
one
Stock.
of
He's
the
a good
things
guy.
that Doc was trying to do, he wanted to go after the main variant, and everybody wanted to decipher each variant, and he wanted to go after the main one because he feels if you go after the main one, you'll kill the rest.
Gotcha.
Well, I don't remember all that in detail, but I do know he's a I can almost say virologist.
Virologist.
And I'm trying to say it. I just got tongue tied on this
Immunologist.
one. But yeah, he if I remember right, that's his specialty. That's what he is strong suited in, and so here you got a guy who's a specialist in this, and they're telling him he's wrong. Can you imagine a government official doesn't even know their own hind end from a hole in the ground trying to tell a true doctor he's wrong?
It happens all the time.
Yeah. Just like they try to tell truck drivers we don't know how to drive trucks, we have to do it the way
Mm.
they say, which is the wrong way.
Oh my god.
Am I right, Daryl?
Well, and here you
Oh, he's muted.
You are.
It's a, you are
so, and
correct.
very quickly, this was another reason why Dr. Stock quit doing DOT physicals, is because the government was charging him $500. He had to watch this 4-hour video, and he can only get so much money back off of his patients to try to recuperate those funds. That didn't bother him so much as the fact that he didn't feel he was practicing true medicine by just going by what the government proposed and put out there.
So
I mean, Dr. Stock is a true bedside manner doctor, if I've ever seen one in today's society.
I'll give you a good question to bring up with Dr. Stock, Ellie. Ask him about the accountable care organizations.
Okay.
And he gets into that, you're gonna hear an earful.
Oh, I love it. I'm stoked. I'm ready. I'm excited.
So getting back to what Daryl was saying earlier about them not doing what they're supposed to do in government, the left and stuff. These judges are ruling against common sense. These judges are ruling against basically the U.S. Constitution. These judges are ruling against statutory laws, and just calling them outdated laws from the 19th century or whatever. Fact of the matter, guys, is parties are factions. These people are swearing an oath to their faction, not to the country. They swear an oath to the Constitution of the United States of America when they're sworn in. But what they're giving their allegiance to is this faction known as the Democrat Party. And it works the same with the Republican Party. Oh, we lost Daryl. So they hold these people to their party. These people have to raise money for their party. These people basically, based on the money they raise, get their committee seats from the party. You see what I'm saying? Their allegiance is with the party. It's not with the country. They're going to do what's best for the party, not the best for the people of the country, not the best for the country. They've been bleeding this country dry financially all these years for the sake of their party and keeping their party in control and in power. This is something George Washington warned us about in his farewell address. And this is why we have somebody like Donald Trump that, as you know, Allie, we voted for him because he said he was going to clean this stuff up. One thing we got to think about is he's got 4 years. That's all he's got is 4 years legally right now as it sits. He can't do everything. So we, the people, need to
He's
get
off to a good
butts in
start.
gear and be prepared for when his 4 years is up. So
A
we're
lot
gonna
of
find ourselves serving the party again.
a lot of people I've realized and I've seen that they're not understanding that everything is doing. I have so many people on the left I see all over TikTok, and people are asking, "Isn't this what you voted for?" He's not doing anything he says he's going to do. I'm like, apparently y'all need to open up y'all's eyes, and y'all need to realize that everything is a process. Every single thing is a process. It's their reality is gonna hit. I'm ready.
Greg wants to know if I finally watched the swamp. The answer to that, Greg, is no. I didn't watch the swamp. I just happened to know this, but I don't often speak on these things. But it's getting time to start speaking on these things. We're trying to put something together because of these things. We'll see what happens when we have some meetings and stuff. But no, I didn't watch the swamp. It's on HBO. I don't have HBO, and I'm a tightwad with my money. I'll go to HBO and pay HBO for the sake of watching their stuff.
What is it about?
Politics, I guess. You have to ask Greg. He watches it.
No, the
He keeps
Tyler was
referring me
talking
to it, but
about
it's a
that.
paid for thing. I can't just watch it. And I'm not the type guy. I just don't pay for stuff anymore. You know what I mean? When it comes to television entertainment, I'm just so disinterested in sitting in front of a TV set. I'll do this with you guys. This is no problem. I like doing this. I'm interacting with human beings. But sitting in
Hmm.
front of a TV set, I have a hard time with. Now, as I'm driving my truck going down the road, I'll pull up Rumble or I'll pull up YouTube and I'll listen to people like Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. I'll listen to Tucker Carlson or, people that express some sort of intelligent thought. I'll listen there. But I
Yeah,
have a
I
hard time
I
with
can't watch
TikTok because I
movies.
hear so much nonsense and misinformation and people talking about stuff they don't know what they're talking about. And sorry, Dally, but it's true. They drive me nuts on TikTok. And it's more about people just wanting to be
Well,
part of something than it is about actually knowing what they're talking about.
Yeah, it I stopped going on there. It drives me nuts. People don't know what the hell they're talking about. You tell somebody, give me a source, they're like, well, you look it up. No, you made the claim, you do it yourself. No, none of them know what the hell they're talking about.
Some of them do, but I mean, I catch people, even some educated people sometimes talking some stuff. And I'm like, oh, I have to correct you here because and they only gave half the truth, or they only, you know what I mean? They didn't understand what they were talking about. And these people, I was surprised to hear stuff that was coming out of their mouth. Now,
Hmm.
sometimes when you're with a group of people, you only get to say so much before you get interrupted. You only get to say so much before whatever happens, and it doesn't come out well. That happens. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody's a professional broadcaster, right? I mean, this isn't Fox News or ABC where people are trained to do this. People are just out there doing it.
Hmm.
So I give them credit, but just the same, it just drives me nuts when I hear people. I mean, the conspiracy theories drive me batty. I understand
well,
conspiracy
and
theories, and I understand there's a lot of them out there that turned out to be true, but it's the way they go about telling things, like that whole 1871 thing or whatever. And oh, they sold us down the river with England, and England actually owns the United States. This is not. None of this is true. They need to stop spreading
No,
these lies.
no.
well, and you gotta, John, things have come a long way from when you and I were Allie and Alyssa's age. I mean, we only had 3 channels, and if the president was on, your night was shot.
When you're a kid, the president was going to give State of the Union. You're like, oh no, they went off our evening programming. The president ruined everything. And Dad's always like,
You're
shut up, the
sitting down
president's
waiting
going
to
to
watch
speak,
your
kid.
favorite show, and all of a sudden, here comes the president. You're done.
Like,
I mean,
damn.
they even interrupted the Academy Awards one night so the president could give his speech. I'll never forget that. They said, "Well, we're going to listen to the president now." And he went on and he gave his State of the Union speech, and then they came back into live regular TV. But you've got so many options now, is what I'm
So
getting to,
your only, the
and
only,
there's
the
so
only
much out there.
recourse, the only recourse of missing the Academy Awards was you had to crack open the newspaper the next day to get caught up.
But I mean, the whole thing of it is that there's so many options out there now, and
Hmm.
there's so many ways that you can pick up anything. And instead of somebody looking at the source for what it's worth, they take it just a little bit of what they've read or they've heard, and people like Harry Sisson run with it.
Harry was an inside job. Harry came. So Biden had a whole office dedicated to social media, and he had young people running it, right, 20 somethings. Harry come from that. Harry was connected with these people. He was getting all of his information from the White House. He was probably had White House people connected with TikTok, making sure he got out there.
Yep.
Okay, we're
Well, I
talking
mean, he
about
ran
me.
an article the other day about a woman being kicked out of the bar because she wore a Trump shirt. Well, as bad as I feel for her, he has the right to refuse service.
She purposely put on
Kick
a
me
hat.
out.
Did
Oh,
you ever think? Did you ever think maybe that the guy did the owner of the bar just didn't want no political bullshit in his bar? He'd rather just have a nice sit down, drink your beer type thing.
you talking about the one
But
in
what I don't
Indiana?
understand, what's wrong with attire? What's wrong with political attire? I mean, we live in the beautiful country of free speech for a reason.
Well, I agree with that. I do agree with that. However, when you own a business, and I can speak from this from the days of living on the campground, when you have a business and you're trying to cater to the American people, it don't take very much to get one fired up when they see whatever they're doing. That's
Yeah.
why when we had certain regulations that were required on the campground, and some of them girls would come in wearing them skimpy bikinis, and no, we wouldn't allow that at the swimming pool. Now,
Well,
granted, it's their right to wear it, but they just wasn't going to do it there.
I understand that. Like, you can refuse service to anybody. I do understand that. But how the bartender should have handled that
On that day.
is I refused service.
Are you talking about the
Not,
one
oh,
in
well, you're a
Well,
Indiana?
MAGA person. You need to get the hell out. That's not how that should
oh,
have
I
went.
agree. I agree.
Are
He
you
probably could
talking
have
about the
handled it
bar
a
in
little bit
Indiana?
better.
Sure.
Do what, John?
Are you talking about the bar in Indiana?
I don't know. There's some
Michigan.
gay guy saying, oh, you're a MAGA person. You need to get out of here.
Oh,
You're a MAGA person.
there was another one where a woman got thrown off a bar in Indiana, in Indianapolis, and the bartender was a female who apparently thought she was a male the way she dressed and acted, and literally picked up a baseball bat and said, "No, you're a Trump supporter. Get out." She was getting really
That's
threatening about it. So
that's just crazy to me. That's discrimination. Everybody has their right to vote whoever they want to vote. I understand kicking somebody out of your business just because
so
you can refuse anybody,
here's my take
but
on
don't.
it. If I go to your establishment, you don't like me for being white, you don't like me for being a Trump supporter, you don't like me because I got blonde hair, or I'm half bald, or green eyes, or I got a stinking white shirt on, or whatever. Um, I would rather you tell me that now instead of me ordering food that I'm going to get from you. You understand what I'm saying? I'd rather just leave.
John, you're bald.
Oh no, I'm not bald. Only on
I
my
was I
elbow.
didn't know you were
John's over
bald.
there like, yeah.
Oh my God, John is bald. I've never seen you without a hat.
Put a hat on. Put the hat on.
Yeah,
God, the
My eyes!
John.
My
John
eyes.
is a balding old man.
I
I just
had to
never.
What do you
say it.
think I keep telling John every time I go get a haircut? I'll send him a wig.
Oh my gosh, I've never noticed. I've
In
never
my in
even
my
paid
30s, I had
attention.
hair down the middle of my back, but I quit doing that since it looks stupid if I kept doing it.
You can put on your head.
Yeah, I could do a flip.
One day
Today.
John's gonna come out and he's gonna look like superstar Billy Graham.
Oh my
Oh, I look like
gosh.
Hulk Hogan. I go lift weights and look like Hulk Hogan, bald on the top and look
Oh,
on the
that's going
sides.
back in the day.
I had a friend
I
that did that. He was losing his hair, so he started lifting weights. He goes, "Well, I might as well get. I'm getting the belly, and I'm losing my hair. I might as well get the muscles to balance it out." I'm like, whatever.
Have some muscles
and
and a power
Billy Graham
belly.
did.
So yeah, I don't know. I just as soon as if you don't like me, send me on my way. Don't let me stay in an environment where you're just gonna be hostile to me, or spit in my food, or spit in my drink when I'm not looking, or
yeah.
I'd rather just know. Because I have no problem with leaving your establishment. It's not a big deal. There's plenty of them out there. And believe
Yeah.
me, those people are not going to make me. You know what I'm saying? They're not making me. I am who I am. I'm not looking for their validation. I'm not looking for their approval. As far as I'm concerned, they can go kick rocks. They don't mean
I
nothing to
could
me.
I can tell you right now, if the roles were reversed, now that it was a Republican telling a Democrat get the hell out, there'll be riots.
You know
People would
why?
lose their freaking mind.
You know why? Because they want to push their views and their ideas upon you. They want you to accept that. They want you to become part of that. You're not required to, by the way. None of us are. We're allowed to have our thoughts. You're allowed to be a racist if you want to, if you so choose to. Technically, you're allowed to be a racist. You're not allowed to go out there and cause harm to people.
Yeah.
But if you have racist tendencies, technically you're allowed to. Nobody has a say so in it. I don't suggest it. I don't think anybody should stoop, but a lot of people, I've come across a lot of people that were blatant racist.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, we've had our jokes in the past, but everybody's always joked and knew it was a joke, and we all got along.
Potato salad?
Yeah, with potato
raisins?
salad. Yeah,
I don't know who instigated that
raisins.
one, but I know one of the gentlemen of color there was part of it in the instigating of it. Boy, did he laugh fast
Yes.
on that one.
If y'all have
Go ahead.
If y'all have a local Dairy Queen, just want to let everybody know out there, you can get a free cone today. So go get your free cones. I'm gonna go get mine here soon.
They only got
I
a
got
few
Dairy
more
Queen around the corner.
hours.
Yeah, let's take funny.
What, John?
I got a Dairy
And-
Queen around the corner. You mean I go get a free cone? They go put ice
Go,
cream in
yeah.
it?
They got free cones. You can go get a dipped cone for $1. I'll be going after the show. Give me
They
some
got
ice
free
cream.
cones, but I can get a dip cone for $1.
Well,
So,
John, I
do
guess
they
we
put
better
ice
let
cream in
Allie
it,
go
though?
get her ice cream.
And be like my dad. Ice cream.
Ice cream! I got ice cream!
That'll be all
John,
over
you-
Discord tonight.
John, you get a hoot out of my dad. Or I'll be like my little brother, sticking a ice cream cone to my forehead in the middle of Cracker Barrel.
Unicorn!
And
Just
screaming, I'm a
prepared for when he
unicorn.
says good morning to you, John.
Do what?
Just prepared for when he says good morning to you. That's all I'm going to say.
Look, when I wake up in the morning and I roll over in bed, there better not be a man next to me. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, goodness.
Like I said,
No,
I'm not.
You
I'm
had to
not
go there,
liberal.
didn't you? Yeah, I'll hear about that from Brandon tonight.
Good
Oh, the
job.
way
And
you
I'm pretty
said
sure
it, I'm
You
mom's
do
in
know
there
he
listening.
listens to this show, John.
Yep, pretty sure mom's in there listening to it now. Good job,
Well,
John.
listen how he said it. Go back and listen to it on the replay. This is how he said it. I'm just saying. It was a setup. I'm innocent.
Did you ever notice John just takes it that little farther?
Yep.
I told you it's how you said it. Wait till he says good morning to you, John. I'm like, well, where's this going?
Yeah. Out of context, it does sound pretty bad, Sean.
He's just trying to warn you,
What
cause
Sean and Ellie's father does is their business. I don't need to know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well,
I can see Brandon's gonna be on the show next week. I want vindication. I want validation. I heard what you guys said.
I'll make
we'll
sure.
be hearing about it.
Yeah, you will. Mm-hmm. I'll
be
make sure
sleeping
I'll
next to my beautiful
send a.
wife while you guys get your butts chewed.
Y'all will get a
Well-
wonderful picture of me holding an ice cream cone.
Well, we'll be sure to post that up on next week's promo.
Hell
So
yeah.
let's let everybody go get ice cream, John.
Yeah, we're a little over in time, so it sounds good to me. Oh God, Daryl came back. Let's bring him in so he can at least say bye.
Bye. Well, see, at least when I had to leave to go put some fuel so I can get over the hill, at least I said I'll be back
If I read it,
instead of dead Mike in it.
I happened to look over and go, oh.
Huh?
I said I happened to look over and go, oh, somebody left a message in the private chat, and looked it down and go, oh, Daryl came back. Wow.
Yes, I'm back.
Nothing like leaving you out of the whole sequence here, and then we're gonna close the show on you. So.
All right.
Oh, take us out,
any
John.
closing remarks there, Daryl, before we close her out?
The Democrats and the liberals quit crying. We have 4 years of Dillinger silliness. Now it's time to now since Dad is home, Let him do his work. Elon Musk, do what you have to do. All you people now, it's kind of funny how all these people saying, "Oh, we're for the environment. We got our electric cars." Now they want to burn their electric cars. So it just kind of tell you the brain, the how can I say it? The easy way, nice way. It kind of
Mentality.
tells you the lies that the Democratic Party will pull. So everybody will just listen to them. When it comes to reality, they have no idea what reality is. There you go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it straight from Daryl Gibbs himself. We put the children to bed. Adults are in charge now. Uh, this is our bit for tonight. We hope you got something out of it. Keep the greasy side down, the shiny side up, in between the lines. Safe travels wherever you may be going. And as always, be good. If you can't be good, well, be good at it. And we go.